Scientology could be called, well, you could call it a religion of religions.
All right.
Anyway,
second last question. Okay, quickly. Are the Markabians reptilians? Are they from the same race, same civilization?
no,
No.
they're not. No.
Because I heard this idea that the Markabians have infiltrated, and then you hear the same idea of these reptilians that have infiltrated the top positions, and you're like, what the heck?
I think that there's a war afoot, to be perfectly honest. I don't think that any one entity, galactically or earthbound, I think that there are a lot of different factions, and they're all fighting each other, and it's a big drama. I mean, how could it not be?
What do you think?
Because if one side controlled everything would be under control.
Yeah, things would make. Yeah, I know. It definitely seems like it's a big battlefield and stuff. Do you believe in the shape-shifting thing? Possession
seems
thing or
real.
something?
It seems real to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's something going on. It's just like, whoa.
I mean, I've got that stuff on my track, not recently, but I do have it on my track as far as things that I've experienced like that myself that were true, and they're bizarre, but hey, I mean, it's part of the lore of our planet for a reason. It isn't just lore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe you can clear this up for me then. What's the word? Okay. Are the Markabians a human race?
From my experience, they are, and they're the ones that have pushed the whole financial scheme that we have. They're sort of they're sort of the banker race of the region.
Cool. Yeah.
And that's how they take things over, is through this through finance. And that's why we have the finance system that we have. It's not really a system, but it's their system.
I couldn't find anywhere where LRH said the Markabians look 8 feet tall or anything like that. So he just seemed to leave it out. So it seems like he's
no, they're just a human.
They're just a human
race. Yeah, because the fedoras and red fire trucks and things like that all came from that particular society. And obviously, and I'm not just basing it off of what he said. I mean, my own knowingness is there that they pretty much look like we do. But they just have a different way of going about things that they've pushed off on us.
And that's the big secret about the ET thing, is they don't necessarily look like little green men. You know what I mean? They look like us.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. Like people leave that out. Like, yeah, the grey thingos exist, and probably these reptilians 8 feet tall exist, but there's also a ton of them that look just like us. You can't tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's also these good-looking, apparently real blonde ones that are 6'5" tall.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things out there, but the fact of the matter is that this particular physical universe pawn, known as a body, and the way that it's set up is so similar and so successful that you see it in dogs, you see it in cats, you see it in any kind of a mammal as you start going down the chain. You see that we share our DNA and an octopus's DNA aren't that different. And that all of these things are very successful lines that have been going on for a really long time, as far as genetically speaking goes. And we differ not that much genetically as far as physical form goes, because it's been such a successful action for so long. And not just here. Human bodies, meat bodies have been around a long, long time. Robot bodies have too, doll bodies have too, along with other things. So it's, there's only so many things you can do in the physical universe. There's only so many forms that you can create, so many ideas that you can do, and the human body and the way that it's set up is a pretty common theme on this planet.
Exactly. And that's why it seems like some of these ET races who have these really advanced robots, they make them in the same form with 2 arms, 2 legs, and eyes and stuff. It just must be with fingers. It must be a really handy shape for this universe to function in.
Yeah, I always tell students and PCs and stuff because the conversation always turns to that stuff at some point. But the thing is you can't keep a successful tool down. A Phillips head screwdriver is the same thing as a Phillips head screwdriver on Antares as it is in Aldebaran, or as it is anywhere in the star systems close to here or wherever. in the physical universe, because the laws of the physical universe apply just the same here as they do anywhere else. And we've seen a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So things don't differ that much until you get into the ability to pull things from one universe to another, which here we're not going to see as much because it's kind of a muddied up space. There's been too much create put on it, over create. So you can't put things into the physical universe like you used to be able to. There are places in space where there's been no counter create, and you can sit there and go, I want a blue marble with red specks. Then there it is. But when you're in an area that's been created on and created on and counter created on and counter created on, all that, you're not able to do that much because the blackboard is now dirty and you can't read it as well and you can't postulate on it. That's the problem that we face.
It's a good analogy. Okay, so the last thing, right? Ready? You got to explain these new courses that you're doing. It's online courses, right?
Standard Tech Academy. We originally started it, my wife and I, Carrie. We originally started a website by that name in 2009, and then we shut it down because the technology really wasn't there yet to do what we wanted to do. And the technology does now exist, and we are putting all of the check sheets that have been made in the independent field on the website, and making videos and ebooks and all of that stuff in line with LRH check sheets for everything that exists in Scientology eventually, but at least the basic stuff from Student Hat, Basic Study Manual, Pro-TRs, Method 1 Co-Audit, Drug Rundown Co-Audit, the levels, NED, Grad 4, Grad 5, Briefing Course, Class 8 course, OT levels eventually, but I mean that's something that needs to be handled with CSOK and all of that. So we're going to try and use the BSM as the non-copyrighted BSM that's fallen out of copyright. Hello, Church of Scientology. Do you hear me?
Has that recently happened?
No, I mean, it's just copyrights end. That's why they pulled all of the 91 tech vols off the shelves, because the copyright is up.
No way.
Oh, yeah. They're making a whole new set of tech vols.
Well, I kind of thought that was more for their schooling purposes, but you're saying, yeah, because all the other tech that they sold it up until they released like GAT1 or GAT2, but they took out the tech vols before they even released the new tech vols.
That's right. So what we're doing is we're going to give Scientology to the masses at their own pace and have trained course supervisors who will be helping them out with their courses. And the idea behind this is it's not a perfect situation, but it is a bootstrap method to get the data out there and reboot Scientology through real Scientology, unaltered Scientology, by having people with ARC and knowledgeable, because every supervisor that does a course has done that course themselves. They're not just a supervisor. That's something we're doing differently. You can't supervise the briefing course unless you're a trained briefing course student and a product of that course. That way you know where everything is and you can get the answers that people are looking for if they have a question. So we're going to be bringing that online here. We have a great team put together, and we'll have more people joining as we go along. But right now we're just getting all of the check sheets online and getting everything to a point to where we can at least release the basic stuff. And we're going to offer the basic study manual for free to college students, and we'll be there to supervise them and teach them about the barriers to study and start creating new Scientologists instead of trying to just fix the broken ones.
The basic study manual is the best one. It's just, it sends you off on an adventure. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do anything without knowing how to study.
Right. And, we're going to do it as a Div 6 new public action, and we'll walk people through it, get them to do demos and essays via internet camera and everything, so we can check them out. And if they're in the middle of India and they have an internet connection, or they're in an internet cafe, we can get them through the BSM. And the next thing you're going to say, I want some more of this stuff. It's really great. What have you got? So that's how we're going to do it.
They can do stuff like use their iPhone and film stuff and show you stuff, and technology makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
they can take pictures of their clay demos from a couple of angles, and then we can pass those clay demos And, it's just like that. And the greatest thing of all is that we're going to do it not from a payment by course, but by subscription. And what that means is that you can get a subscription to do any course as long as it's in the order that it's intended. There are prerequisites for each course, unless it's the BSM or the student hat, et cetera, and so on. The logical progression of courses. But we're going to do it under a subscription model so that for X amount of dollars a month, you can do this course, the next course, and the next course, and the next course under that subscription. If you can put the time in and you can pass it, you can do it. So we're putting it to the point to where you don't have to come up with a big, huge pile of cash to learn how to be an auditor. All you need to have is a professional attitude and a professional student hat and get it done. And we'll do the rest with you. But you've got to be the one to get through the check sheet.
Sounds pretty good. Train up how to be an auditor and stuff. Did you say that you actually will be doing a St. Hill special briefing course?
Yep, we'll be doing the briefing course. We'll also be doing the Class 8 course. Ultimately, I don't think that we're going to have anybody jump on and want to do the Class 8 course online. If we did, we could facilitate that fairly quickly. But it will be in the lineup by the end of the year, and it's already on there as far as the syllabus goes. But we have yet to release the URL to anybody or anything like that until we've beta tested the line and everything like that and made sure everything works and nothing's going to break down on the students. But it'll be very economical for anybody to do Scientology, which will be a first for planet Earth.
Sweet, yeah. So when do you reckon it'll be all set up and ready to start?
We hope to have it open within the next 4 to 6 weeks, at least with the beginning courses. So I can't tell you what that lineup of those beginning courses will be, but I know that BSM and Student Hat will be 2 of them. Probably we'll do it from the bottom to the top and then work to get the levels, Method 1 especially. We may even do the primary rundown, which would be great, which really doesn't get used that much anymore. As far as twins goes and things like that, we're going to make sure that people get their own twins. They're going to have to do a little recruiting themselves until we get big enough and we can say, all right, you're in Poughkeepsie. Okay, we got this person in Poughkeepsie who's looking to do this. This is going to be your twin. So,
well, it's better. It's better
hurdles.
finding your own twin anyway, because I found that it's you got to find someone you're compatible with and all that sort of stuff. And it's annoying getting thrown with someone who's a former alcoholic.
Well, right. There is some qualification that goes along with it. So, I don't think it'll be a problem. And smaller orgs, we always dealt with that. If you didn't have a twin, we could still get you through the course. It's not ideal, but the fact of the matter is that you can't get a student through a course without a twin. And whatever we have to do in order to build up our ranks large enough that we have more people who are helping more people and paying it forward. That's the whole idea of the project, is to pay this forward and get enough Scientologists, new Scientologists who understand what real Scientology is about, and get this party started all over again. That's my goal.
Will this all be accessed through your AOGP website?
Yeah, it'll be through AOGP. There'll be a little button on there, go to the course room and all of that stuff.
Yeah, and people can still get audited by you and that sort of stuff. You're still doing the touring RV?
Yep, right. Yeah, right now I'm delivering services in Texas.
Hear that, Osa? No, kidding.